Hello there, beautiful people. Welcome to the Navis Kitchen. I hope you all are having a great day today. Sister Madame is excited because today I'm putting together okra stew with fish and crabs. My husband has had okra stew before. It was the vegan style. He enjoyed it, but let's see if he's gonna like this one as well. Hopefully love it. So let's begin, but first let's wash our hands. And while I'm doing that, you know what to do. Give your sister a thumbs up to encourage me. Yes, we all could use some encouragement, and these days especially. So let's get going. We have all the ingredients on the chopping board for our stew base. And then I also have my spinach, because that's nutrition, that's iron, and we all need that. And I also have my okra. I'm going to prep the rest of them, and here are the proteins. So I have some tilapia fish, cleaned and gutted, scaled and everything. I've cleaned them with some lemon, and then I also have my crabs. Everything is ready to go. Let's cook, friends. And the tilapia gets seasoned with some ginger paste, all-purpose seasoning, and some salt to taste. We're gonna just rub it in and set it aside for about 30 minutes. That's gonna give it some time to marinate. And that's all she wrote there. For our stew base, I'm going to be grinding some ingredients on the chopping board right here in my earthenware food processor, locally known as asanka or apotoyua with the tapuli. So let's get that going. So I have 2 scotch bonnet chilies. I'm going all out on the heat level today. And then I have Fresno chilies. I'm going to cut those up first. And these are frozen. It's a lot easier to grind them when they're frozen. So I cut them up first just to make it easier. It's always best practice to add a little bit of salt to your grinder to create a coarse surface. Makes grinding a lot easier. So let's go for it. I'm gonna go ahead and grind the onion as well. The chilies, of course, you can always adjust to your tolerance, all right? I want this to be hot today. Grinding them like this in an earthenware food processor just really brings out the natural flavors of the ingredients. But of course, you can choose to use your blender, no worries. I'm going to add half a green bell pepper. That's gonna help bring some of that heat down. I'm also going to add half a large red bell pepper. Now these, you just want to crush them lightly. So this is going to end up with a chunkiness. And see all that chunkiness going on? Chunk is texture. Texture is beautiful, and I love beautiful. Now I have only 1 tomato, fresh tomato for this recipe because the acidity in tomato tends to cut the slime in okra, which I love, so I don't want to cut it. Okay, now just give the tomato a rough chop. And now all the components for our stew base have been prepped. We're going to start cooking. So on medium heat the pot goes, and I pour in zumi, which is red palm oil, which is spiced and super delicious. Just a bit of that goes in, and I'm going to add my momoni, which is cured fish, and that brings loads of umami. Now, our cured fish is very similar in taste to fish sauce or even shrimp paste, which you'll find in abundance. It is stocked at most Oriental stores in a variety of brands. Now, we're going to add some onions. This is half a large onion. And I chopped mine into large pieces, so you can chop yours anyhow you want. It is your food. Express yourself how you want to. I cooked it for about 2 minutes or until fragrant. Then I follow up with the ground mixture of chilies, peppers, and onion. And now our goal is to fry the entire stew base until we've lost some moisture, which will mean that the stew base become reduced, more concentrated, and tastier in flavor. Gonna add my ginger and garlic paste. And add your tomatoes. I just have one small tomato. The acid in tomatoes can cut the slime in okra. So a little bit will go a long way. I do want the sweetness it offers, so I like to add it in my okra stew. Cook an extra 2 minutes after adding the tomatoes. Now here I have some shrimp powder. These are smoked dried shrimps turned into powder, and it brings a beautiful sweet taste that's also umami. So I love it. Now I have some all-purpose seasoning and some salt. I have rinsed my asanka with half a cup of water. Pour that in. Purpose of the water is to loosen the stew base because it's already nice and concentrated in flavor. Now it's a good time to add your tilapia. And then immediately follow up with submerging the tilapia in the stew base. Then also add the crabs, which were purchased parboiled, so they don't need to do a lot of cooking at this point. I have added just a tad bit more of water, all right, to loosen the stew base even more. And now I'm just gonna cover the pot and cook for the next 10 to 12 minutes. I have gathered all my spinach into a tight bundle, and I'm going to chop them into my preferred sizes, including the stems as well. The stems are full of fiber as the spinach itself, so please don't get rid of those. So what I did was just give it a rough chop. Now it's time to prep the okra. First, I line up 3 of them at least to keep things moving, speed things up, and chop the heads off. All right, and then I cut them into thin discs. This is gonna bring us lots of texture in the final product. So keep on watching. Texture, like I said, is beautiful. The end product is gonna be so pretty. Keep on watching, you'll see. In this separate pan, I'm going to cook or parboil my okra. So in here, I pour just a little bit of water. About 4 cups will go a long way. And to that, I add a pinch of bicarbonate of soda. That's going to help develop that draw we all love in our okra dishes. Just stir that in. And if you notice, I started with hot water to be as efficient with my time as possible. And then as soon as I noticed that the bicarbonate of soda had dissolved, I went in with the okra, followed by some thinly sliced onions, 1 habanero chili chopped, and also some ginger paste. So these are aromatics. And you might wonder, why is she doing that if the stew is already delicious? Yes, great question, good thoughts. Let me explain. It is simply because I want to avoid overcooking my okra when it joins the stew base. I want it to be tasty before that time comes. Now I'm adding some more flavor, and that is all-purpose seasoning followed by some salt. I'm gonna stir it in, and stirring also helps the draw to develop. Once it comes to a gentle boil and I have confirmed that the draw is there, I am turning that heat off, friends. Again, I do not want to overcook anything. The heat is off, and now I am adding the spinach, which all I needed to do is wilt. That's it. So stirring it in will cause it to wilt because there is residual heat in the okra. Checking on the stew base, 12 minutes later, the tilapia and the crabs are tasting like the stew. One thing I do here though is, friends, I remove the tilapia because these tend to be so delicate. And when I add the okra, I'm going to have to stir everything in so it becomes one pot of stew, all right? And my goal here is to serve full pieces of tilapia, not torn up pieces. All right, so now both components get joined together. Holy matrimony. Those colors, you can see richness and lots of nutrition here. So now I can stir freely without worrying about a thing. There it is, beautiful. Perfect. Now we return the tilapia pieces back into the pots. And we are almost ready to serve. I don't even let this come to an aggressive boil, just a very gentle simmer, because remember our okra is tasty already. The stew base is, you know it's good. So yeah, and I garnish with some whole habanero chilies with the heads on to keep the heat in. And could this stew use a little more fresh crunch? The answer is yes. So some onions went in there and voila! We're serving with some banku. Yes, soft banku. This one had more of the cassava dough in it, so it's extremely soft and swallows so smoothly, elegantly, and easily. Friends, if you're not feeling a hastiness to run to that kitchen and throw this simple yet tasty okra stew together, then you must watch the video again from the beginning all the way to the end. And by the way, my husband thought this was delicious too, except the slime was a bit much for him, but can you blame him? He is not West African. Yes, that's his honest opinion, and it's all good. Friends, I hope you are inspired to try this recipe and return with your feedback. And I also hope that you make it a great day and have fun, especially in that kitchen. Thank you, beautiful person, for watching the video all the way to the end. Kindly leave me a comment and subscribe down below, and don't forget to share the video as well. Also, watch more videos. It is chop time, and here in Anaba's kitchen, chop time is always yes, friends. So pull up a chair. We are all friends and family here.